Welcome to IELTS time. In today's lesson, we're looking at the Part 1 topic of food. We'll hear Finn and Blondie answer the same set of questions, and then explore some useful vocabulary and expressions you can use in your own speaking. Let's get started with Finn.
Do you enjoy cooking?
Not really, to be honest. I can cook when I have to, but it's not something I look forward to. I've never found it particularly enjoyable, and I'd rather spend my free time doing other things. For me, cooking is more of a necessity than a hobby.
What kinds of food can you cook well?
I can make a few simple meals quite well, such as pasta, fried rice, and some basic chicken dishes. I wouldn't say I'm a great cook, but I know enough to prepare decent meals for myself. I usually stick to recipes that are quick and straightforward.
What types of food are popular in your country?
There's quite a wide range of popular foods. Traditional local dishes are still very common, but international cuisines have become increasingly popular as well. It's easy to find restaurants serving Italian, Japanese, Mexican, or Indian food, and younger people seem to enjoy having lots of variety.
Do you usually have a healthy diet?
I'd say my diet is fairly healthy overall. I try to eat balanced meals and include vegetables and fruit whenever possible. That said, there are definitely times when I eat fast food or snacks, especially when I'm busy. I try not to be too strict and focus more on balance than perfection.
Do you prefer eating at home or eating out?
I prefer eating at home most of the time. It's usually more comfortable and much cheaper. I can also eat whenever I want without waiting for a table or traveling anywhere. That being said, I still enjoy eating out occasionally, especially when meeting friends or celebrating something.
How often do you order food for delivery?
Probably once or twice a week. It really depends on my schedule. If I've had a long day or don't feel like cooking, ordering food is just the easiest option. I try not to do it too often because it can become expensive.
What kind of food do you usually order when you get food delivered?
I usually order things like pizza, burgers, fried chicken, or noodle dishes. They're filling, convenient, and generally taste good even after being delivered. Sometimes I'll order sushi as well if I'm in the mood for something a bit lighter.
Do you prefer eating alone or with other people?
I definitely prefer eating with other people. I think meals are more enjoyable when you can have a conversation and share the experience. Eating alone is fine when I'm busy or just want some quiet time. But if I have the choice, I'd rather eat with friends or family.
Is it common in your country for people to have dinner parties at home?
Yes, I think it's quite common. People often invite friends or relatives over for special occasions, holidays, or even just casual get togethers. It's usually a relaxed way to spend time together, and home cooked food often plays a big role in those gatherings.
Have your eating habits changed since you were a child?
Yes, quite a bit. When I was younger, I was a much pickier eater and tended to stick to foods I already knew. These days, I'm more willing to try new dishes and cuisines. I also pay more attention to what I eat and try to make healthier choices than I did when I was a kid.
And that's Finn's interview. Now let's hear how Blondie answers the exact same questions. Do you enjoy cooking?
Honestly, it depends on the day. When I have some free time on the weekend, I actually quite enjoy it. It can be nice to unwind. But during the work week, when I get home late and I'm already exhausted, it just feels like another chore on my to-do list. So yeah, it's a bit of a love-hate relationship.
What kinds of food can you cook well?
I'm pretty good at quick, practical weekday meals. Things like stir-fries, pasta dishes, or sheet pan chicken and veggies. Basically anything where I can just chop everything up, throw it in a pan and have dinner ready in 20 minutes. I wouldn't say I'm making gourmet meals, but I can definitely make a solid, tasty dinner.
What types of food are popular in your country?
A bit of everything, really. Traditional comfort food is always big, but honestly, because everyone is so busy these days, quick, casual dining is massive. Fast casual spots, grab-and-go sushi, and localised street food are what most people my age grab during their lunch breaks or after work.
Do you usually have a healthy diet?
I try my best, but I definitely wouldn't say I'm perfect. I aim for the whole cooking at home with fresh ingredients thing from Monday to Thursday. But by Friday night, all my willpower is usually gone, so I definitely indulge in some junk food or takeout over the weekend.
Do you prefer eating at home or eating out?
Probably eating out, if I'm being honest. Don't get me wrong, eating at home is great for saving money and staying healthy, but there's nothing better than going to a restaurant with friends, trying new food, and, most importantly, not having to do any dishes afterward.
How often do you order food for delivery?
Usually maybe twice a week, typically starting on Friday night or over the weekend, when the work week fatigue really sets in and the fridge is looking a bit empty. It's just so easy to pull out your phone and have someone bring food right to your door when you're too tired to stand over a stove.
What kind of food do you usually order when you get food delivered?
I usually order things that I can't easily make myself or stuff that travels well. So a lot of Thai food, maybe a burrito bowl or some sushi. If it's a rainy Friday night and I'm just watching Netflix, it's almost always going to be pizza or a burger.
Do you prefer eating alone or with other people?
Definitely with other people. For me, meals are a social thing. It's when you get to catch up with your partner, family, or friends and talk about your day. That said, I don't mind a quiet lunch alone at my desk just to scroll through my phone and decompress for a bit.
Is it common in your country for people to have dinner parties at home?
It is, but they aren't super formal anymore. For people my age, hosting a dinner party usually just means having a few friends over, opening a bottle of wine and either making a huge batch of tacos together or just ordering a bunch of pizzas. It's way more laid back than what our parents used to do.
Have your eating habits changed since you were a child?
Oh, definitely. Like most kids, I was pretty picky and mostly wanted carbs and sweets. Now that I'm working and paying attention to how food actually makes me feel, I eat way more vegetables and balanced meals. Plus, my palate has totally changed. I actually love things like spicy food and seafood now, which I wouldn't even touch as a kid.
And that's Blondie's interview. Even though they answered the same questions, their responses felt quite different because they drew on different experiences, routines, and preferences. Now let's take a closer look at some useful language from the two interviews. Love-hate relationship is used when you have mixed feelings about something. You enjoy parts of it, but at the same time you also find it annoying or tiring. For example, instead of saying, I like cooking, but I also don't like it, you can say, I have a love-hate relationship with cooking. Casual get-togethers are informal social meetings with friends or family. They are relaxed and not planned in a very formal way. For example, instead of saying, we met friends at the weekend in a relaxed way, you can say, we had a casual get-together at a friend's place. Chore refers to something you have to do but don't really enjoy doing. It often feels repetitive or like an obligation. For example, instead of saying, I don't like cooking every day, you can say, cooking every day feels like a chore when I'm busy. Gourmet refers to high-quality, sophisticated food that is usually prepared in a more refined or professional way. It is often used when talking about restaurants or special meals. For example, instead of saying, it was very high-quality food, you can say it was a gourmet meal at a nice restaurant. Quick and straightforward describes something that is simple and doesn't take much time or effort. It's often used when talking about food, tasks, or routines. For example, instead of saying, I like easy meals, you can say, I usually cook quick and straightforward meals during the week. Balanced diet means eating a healthy mix of different types of food, rather than focusing too much on one thing. It's commonly used when talking about healthy eating habits. For example, instead of saying, I try to eat healthy food, you can say, I try to maintain a balanced diet with vegetables, protein, and carbohydrates. Indulge in is a phrase used when you allow yourself to enjoy something, especially something you normally avoid or limit. It is often used for food, treats, or guilty pleasures. For example, instead of saying, I eat junk food on weekends, you can say, I like to indulge in fast food at the weekend. It gives your English a more natural and expressive tone. Work week fatigue describes the tired feeling that builds up as the working week goes on. It's often used when explaining why you don't feel like cooking or going out. For example, instead of saying I'm really tired after work, you can say, by midweek I start feeling work week fatigue. Grab and go refers to food that is prepared quickly and meant to be taken away. It's commonly used when talking about convenience food. For example, instead of saying I buy quick food, you can say I often choose grab and go meals when I'm in a hurry. Picky eater describes someone who only eats a small range of foods and avoids many others. It's often used when talking about childhood eating habits. For example, instead of saying I didn't like many foods as a child, you can say I was a picky eater when I was younger. Carbs is a casual way of referring to carbohydrates like bread, rice, and pasta. It's very common in everyday spoken English. For example, instead of saying, I ate a lot of bread and pasta, you can say, I used to eat a lot of carbs when I was younger. Laid back describes something relaxed, informal, and not strict or serious. It's often used when talking about social events. For example, instead of saying, the dinner was not formal, you can say, it was a laid-back dinner with friends. Lighter describes food that is not heavy or rich, often chosen when you want something more gentle or easy to eat. For example, instead of saying, I don't want heavy food, you can say, I prefer something lighter like salad or sushi. That's the end of today's lesson. Try to take a few of the expressions from today and use them in your own speaking. The more naturally you use them, the more confident your answers will sound. If you'd like more practice like this, you can join as a member for extra lessons. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.